Hello, it's Debs here. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to share a really great story with you today that I have known my whole life. Well, from a very young age, I've known this story and I'm really seeing it in a new way and seeing it as a metaphor for something that has been an absolute game changer for me around any kind of problem solving, whether that's been a health issue, a financial issue, a relationship issue. Literally, no matter what it is, it's kind of like, okay, if we look in this direction, if we take this what I knew as a story from a child and now see the metaphor of what it's pointing to, it's like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And it has, as I said, it's been a game changer. So whether it is a story, a metaphor, whatever, it comes from the Bible. I had a religious upbringing and I'm familiar with lots and lots of Bible stories, but seeing them in a new way, seeing them as a really useful metaphor for something, not in a religious context, but seeing what was behind the story, what it was pointing to. And that's what this particular story has done for me. And it's really woken something up in me that has been so helpful, which is why I wanted to share it with you guys. So it's the story of Daniel in the lion's den. So in case you're not familiar with the story, and I will share it and reveal the metaphorical way that I'm seeing it and how helpful it's been for me. So the story goes that Daniel became a very, very powerful man because he became a confidant of the king. He was like the king's best friend, but he was his position was that he was confidant to the king, so he would help him out with problems, help him with things. And there were other people in the kingdom who were jealous. They didn't like the power that Daniel had. They didn't like, the position that he had been put into, because he didn't start life in that way. It wasn't a natural position. He won that position because of the man that he was. So there were people who were jealous of him and wanted to bring him down. And so there was a plot against him. And so a part of this plot was Daniel ended up doing something which meant that if the king was going to keep the rules of the kingdom, he was going to have to put Daniel to death, because Daniel had been tricked into doing something. So even though Daniel was a good man through and through, and this had been a trick against him, the king found himself in a position of having no choice but to put his confidant and dear friend to death. And at that particular time, in the Bible, in the way that this story goes, they were pretty horrific. The way that they were going to do this was that they were going to throw him into a pit of lions, hungry lions, no less. And so, they were going to do that, and then overnight, and then the next morning, there would be nothing left of him. That's how it was going to happen. So Daniel, being a God-fearing man, turned to God and said, I have this terrible, terrible problem. I'm going to be put in this pit of lions. What should I do? So God answered Daniel and said, trust in me. Don't look at the lions. Don't look at this terrible problem and try and work out what to do and how you are going to keep yourself alive in this pit of hungry lions. Look to the light, look above, look to me, look towards God, look to what you know to be true, and you will be saved. And so Daniel was kind of, oh, okay. And so he was thrown into this pit of lions, and he spent the entire night looking to God, praying to God, keeping his counsel with God, being in continual connection with God. And sure enough, in the morning when they came to look, expecting to find nothing, maybe a few rags and a couple of bones, Daniel was completely and utterly unharmed. So he came out of the pit of the lions. Now, what's the metaphor of this? How has this been so helpful, and what is the metaphor behind this? So basically, when we have a problem, it feels to us rather like a hungry lion. We think about it a lot. It has our attention. We are continually thinking, how do I solve this? What do I do? How can I change this? And it feels like this big, huge, slobbering problem devours us. It feels like we are swallowed, eaten alive by this problem. So the metaphor of the lion is the problem. It represents the problem. So when we have a problem that feels all-consuming, feels that we are going to be consumed by it, what we are being told is to look towards truth. Now, a part of this is, the word obviously in the Bible is God. And what I can see for me is a part of this is making your peace. What is this? It's called many things: the universe, our inner being, the power behind life, our spiritual nature. But whatever it is that is within you that is more than the sum of your human parts. Even when we look at how doctors define what is a dead body and what is a live body, there is some kind of life force that is inexplainable within us. There is something within us that is more than just simply being human. So whether you use the word God or whatever word you use for that to explain this amazing power that we can all turn towards, basically this metaphor is saying, instead of being consumed by this problem, spending all your time looking at these lions, look towards what you know to be true. Look inside yourself, look to the light, look to this deeper truth that you know about the universe, this place that we live. Look there instead of being consumed by your problems. Because we all know, if a problem consumes us, that's it. We've been so consumed, and that is a feeling that we can get into. And what this metaphor is pointing to is, if we don't allow our attention to go there, but we turn our attention to the light within every one of us, and all of us, this is one of the things that I'm seeing more and more deeply all the time. It is a habit that we have formed because we are so reliant on our intellect. We have formed this habit of going there to try and solve this problem, looking at the problem, looking at the details, being all in and being consumed by it. And yet, when we remove ourselves from it, when we look to the light, look to what it is we know, something else comes in. It's the same phenomenon when we talk about, how is it that when I'm really looking for something, I'm looking, I'm consumed by it, and in the end I think, oh my, that's it, I'll never find it, do something else, and where this thing is just occurs to you. Or when we go in the shower and we have our best ideas, when we're thinking about something, then we take some downtime, we go in the shower and we have our best ideas. So it's even, to me, it's even a deeper metaphor than that. It's saying this is really something that you can deeply rely on no matter what this problem is. If you stop looking towards it, if you do look towards it, you're going to be consumed by it. If you allow it to drift from your mind and look to a deeper truth, look to what this God presence, what is that in your life? If you look there, that lifts your level of consciousness, that opens something up in you and allows the answer to come. And in one sense, one of the things that I really notice about our spirituality is the simplicity of it. It really, really is that simple. And one of the ways that we get so caught up in this is one of the problems that we have is we cannot believe in its simplicity. We fall into the trap of being consumed and trying to make it more difficult than it needs to be. So I'm going to invite you to play with this, because as I said, this was a game changer for me, seeing that was what this story was representing. It was saying to me, don't look so deeply and try so hard in this human battle against this problem to try and solve it yourself. Use this deeper intelligence that you have. Open yourself to this deeper intelligence and allow the answers to come from there. And it has been a game changer for me to do that. So I'm going to invite you to play with this, which the reality of this is that's how we move. That's how we move ourselves spiritually, and that's how our levels of consciousness rise when we play, when we look at something like that and think, okay, so the next time this happens for me, the next time this thing comes up, I'm going to just play with that and see what's there. Because we get feedback when we play in that way. Things happen for us and we see things occur, and that helps us with the next step and the next step. And I can see that is what has happened for me with this. It's been like, okay, so the next time there's a problem, I'm going to, instead of going into what the problem is, I'm going to look towards God, this deeper intelligence, my own imagination, what I have within me. Not think deeply into it and overthink it, but look in that direction. And again and again and again, this has come up trumps for me. If you haven't watched my videos that are talking about the field of dreams, where I put myself completely out of my own comfort zone to buy a plot of land and build a house. And when I started on this journey, I did not have the finances to buy the land. The land now belongs to me, so that problem completely turned around when I changed my focus and looked somewhere else. And now we're in a place of building the house, and I'm going to do that in exactly the same way. And this is what I call supernatural living, looking in that direction instead of getting really caught up in the things that look like a huge problem to us. So we can literally use this for absolutely anything. It is applicable no matter what. I would love to hear how you get on. If you play with this, I would love you to drop me a comment below and share anything that you find, whatever comes up for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them too. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.